So guys, we're back. Episode 9, we're up to 9 episodes already. End Product Podcast. Guys, if you're out there listening, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, all these places, make sure to give us a wee rate and review and follow, all that good stuff. But guys, it's been a mad crazy week, to say the least, on so many different levels. How you've been?
Struggling to keep up with what's going on at the moment. Just like the crypto space particularly, like the prices. It's just hard to figure out what's a good deal, what's a bad deal. Is it time to sell? Is it time to buy? What about you, Tony? You've been getting on all right?
I've just given myself a couple of rules. If I'm buying, so if some of my players are rising in ETH and I've probably sold them at cheaper, but my gallery's staying up in ETH. So if I'm buying somebody, they can't be at, for instance, 0.1 above the floor price. I'm refusing to do it because I know that's inflation. So I'm just trying to get my gallery worth as much ETH as possible.
Yeah.
However, I'm struggling. I've got 0.6 to play with and I don't like having a balance, but I think I might need to just keep it there and hope for the best.
Yeah. I think that's one lesson everyone's kind of grasped over the last 2 weeks or so, is like a balance is like, for the most time over the last 18 months, having a balance has been great because every day you wake up and it maybe goes up in value, But like I've been saying for ages, like I hate having, I don't carry a balance unless I know I'm going to go for something or I'm going to go make a withdrawal because, when you've got a wallet and you don't know what to do, you've got umpteen decisions and only one will be right.
I've had a bit of a big balance on my account for a while as well, so I should have really taken it out. It's almost like, I don't know about you two, but I think it might be smart of Sorare now to maybe almost like take the ETH balance out of the equation. I know that we need ETH to like get on there, but maybe
how would they do it though? That's my question. Like, say for instance,
they'd have to rewrite the back end, right? Because we can see the prices in pounds or euros or dollars, whatever we choose, but ultimately it's all down to like how much ETH have you got in your balance, and then it will tell you what that's worth. It's like if you could convert that, that's it. Once we upload it onto the wallet, it's almost like it needs to be converted at that point to USD or something like that.
Say you were hoping that ETH rises again,
and
you wouldn't cash out your thing. So maybe you can keep the fiat, but they give you a little side pouch for your ETH.
Yeah, like maybe a convert to fiat,
like a kind of savings account.
I think if they're to like make like the wallet like a fiat, like a pound, dollar or whatever, then they need to have like insane amounts of ETH for themselves, because if we're going to hold a wallet in like pounds or whatever and then we want to go buy something, the transaction, because it's an NFT, has to be done on Ethereum because it's on the Ethereum like blockchain. So they would then need to like have a massive ton of ETH. So then if at that precise moment you do that transaction, whatever your $200 is worth, the correct amount of ETH transacts between person 1 and 2.
I never thought about that. That's a good point, because it would be they'd have to pretty much like act a bit like a centralized exchange, like a Binance, almost like a massive liquidity pool, which puts them at huge risk. Good point. That actually, that does make it tough. But I think it just causes all kinds of problems at the minute, doesn't it? In terms of working out if you've got a good deal or not, working out if you price in fiat, if you price in ETH. Like, I've been sort of selling. I've sold a few limiteds because I've looked at the price of my limiteds. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine because I sold a few of my sort of high ticket limiteds this week. Like I sold my Omar Soleil, and I sold him at an ETH profit, but at a fiat loss. So it's like, I don't know if that's a good deal for me or a bad deal yet, because depending on what happens with ETH in the next few months, if ETH goes up and his price goes down in ETH, I can rebuy him and hold on to a nice profit there. But if ETH continues to go down, his ETH valuation is probably going to go up, whereas fiat is going to kind of level out. But looking back at previous dips, I've noticed that those first few days, it takes a little while for the sort of pound dollar value to come back in line with where it is. So like those initial couple of days, the shock of the drop or the spike means that the prices have to catch back up. So when we've gone up in past, like their ETH value's gone down gradually over time. But because this has been such a harsh drop, it's like looking at what you've paid in fiat versus ETH is quite crazy at the moment. So it's weird. I don't know. Like, how are you two looking at like the deals you're doing at the minute?
Nobody wants to deal with me. Nobody wants to give me an ETH. Everything's an extra 20% or something, and I'm making sure I don't get sucked into that because I don't want. I've sold players at profits. I've sold players at good deals, but I don't want to be buying players fiat because if I can do it ETH, then I'm backing that my gallery, the ETH goes up and my gallery goes up. So I'm not too worried about the fiat cost of my gallery right now. My gallery's nearly doubled in ETH since I played. So if ETH does go back up and everyone drops 10%, then I'm still in the good. But I don't know. It's a difficult one because the main thing is the fiat, because in life we deal with fiat. But if you can be patient and hopefully when everything goes back. Plus remember, there's going to be a rise in cost of players because when the leagues start back.
Yeah, true.
I think we've been doing good business. That's also taking into consideration where we are. So you couldn't actually tell if your gallery's sitting healthy or not just now because, or you probably could, but you can't tell how healthy it's sitting because it goes to rise and it's going to, for instance, the first weekend of the season, since we finished, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new strikers from Challenger Europe. So I'm guessing if they all go up 10%, that's not including midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers. So I'm hoping that, like every year, they grow.
Yep.
And my gallery's in a better place.
This is normally a good time to buy. I know, like, without the market situation that it is at the moment with like ETH and all that, this is like historically the best time to do business off season. I don't know, like in previous years, obviously we haven't had things like the Nations League. I feel like that this has been like the longest international break of all time. Like, it's never ending. Like, when are we going to get back to the normality? I know we've got some fixtures back again this week, but mate, this last few weeks has just been weird as hell. I'm almost like disengaged. I'm throwing teams together that I don't expect anything from. Like, most of them have got a player missing somewhere. It's like complete lottery. I don't know how you used to have got on, if you've won. I won a couple of rewards last week actually, but nothing to write home about. A couple of limiteds. But yeah, I don't know how your international break has gone. Have you had any decent wins?
It's been like a bit like the Twilight Zone, hasn't it, over the last 2 weeks with the international stuff on top and all the rest of it. I've managed to pick up a couple of cards. I wasn't planning on picking up any more really after I'd got the Kyogo Super Rare in last week or whenever it was. But I went and got a few other bits and pieces because, like you guys are saying, like when there is market volatility, and you know, like see the way some people are like reacting now to like the crash, if you like, in terms of like, oh, it's my galleries and wallets and player prices and all that kind of stuff. I'd normally get more worried about that stuff when ETH goes up. See when it was going to like nosebleed territory and it was really like running up. That's when I got really worried more than when it comes down, because I mentioned this in a message in the live chat on Sorare Data yesterday, the Andrews. But like it's a bit of public perception as well. Like like I want the game to be as successful as possible because I think it's an amazing football game, and the room for growth and connection with players and all the rest of it. Like, we've got Tony here on a podcast talking about it, for fuck's sake, I think it's incredible, and I remember when ETH was kind of coming up when I was early on the platform, and I said it on content and I'll still say it. I think Sorare is like the happiest for everyone. Whales, minnows, everyone in between, when ETH is around 1,000 to 1,500. I don't know why. I can't quantify it with any data or anything, but I think it's like for me anyway, it's like a mental perception thing. Like if you come onto Sorare, everything runs on ETH because it's like a universal like currency. You can talk to somebody in Japan about ETH and negotiate prices, and it's not in yen or whatever, and you're having to work out what the hell yen is in pounds or that kind of caper. And when
That's
1,000, and when like 1,000 is a coin, people can do like dead simple. Oh well, he's half. That's 500 quid. That's 200 quid. And that I just think for like the layman coming into this, which 99% of people that will play this game over the next 5 years will be like a crypto layman. Basic things like that, like it might sound really inane, but to like the mass population, easy like understanding of things is important, and numbers puts people off sometimes. It's complicated, you know.
The lower the cost, Quinny, as well, I reckon more people sign up. I reckon more people get on, which means more users, which means a bigger game, which means probably find people that wouldn't have played it, come and enjoy it and stay on the platform. For me, would be massive, because it then evens it out a bit, and it probably adds more rewards because more players, and then I don't have a problem with Wales, but I would rather see more lower end. Selfishly, I'd rather see more lower end challenging people, so that it's a better chance for me to win rewards.
Of course.
If that makes sense. And the Wales probably say the same, because they'll still scoop up the top 3, top 10 rewards most weeks, which is good. Look, if you're an early adopter or you're a whale and you want to spend your money, that's what happens in life. But what I'm saying is, for instance, if there's 100,000 people in one league and they have 10,000 rewards, if that doubles to 200,000 people, they're not going to keep 10,000 rewards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most of them, if they've down, possibly would be people buying in smaller galleries. So I hope it does, and I hope it opens up to more people who probably say, right, I'm ready to invest, but I wasn't ready to invest 2,000 for a coin, but maybe I'm ready to invest 700, 800 if it gets to that.
Yeah.
Which
another thing as well, like when you're saying about all of like the onboarding and more people, I think the biggest problem that it has long term is like it needs to keep people engaged. But for me personally, so long as I feel like I can get near a reward and that reward is worth something to someone, then I'm still engaged. And you know, like the more people they onboard, the easier is it going to be for them to get more licenses in from clubs and leagues, and then they can like expand coverage and stuff like that. And I know off air in the week we were kind of speculating on like the news of Saint Etienne signing that extending their deal with Sorare for like 5 more seasons, but we know that they're in League 2 now. Like, are we going to see them mint those collectibles, or do you think that is just like an opportunity for them to pick up? And it's like, I was looking at it could be one of two things there. It's like, are Saint Etienne moving in now because they know that they're not going to be part of any deal for the full League One, or you know, are they doing it because they just want to sell collectibles every season regardless of what League One does? But then again, you know, they're probably not going to see that same return if the league isn't covered next season. But going back to my original point of all of these new members coming in, they're going to need more rewards, because if we have 10 times the amount of users, we're going to need 10 times the size reward pools. And with the current like availability, we're not going to be able to do that unless we do start onboarding the League 2s, the Bundesliga 2s, the Croatian League, the Hungarian League. Like, we're going to eventually need those leagues on board to make sure that like 1 million users can feel like they can win a reward. So be really
I think
interesting.
that's why they're not doing it yet, though, because see, if they do flood it, there'll be so many cards in the market that just, for instance, the demand, if they've got so many cards yet not a lot of people buying them, the price will be low. But see for instance, if you've got 1,000 players that need 500 cards, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain it, but what I'm saying is, if there's too many cards, they won't get bang for their buck. But if there's not enough on the market, whatever, but if they start adding all the leagues, they probably got a plan in place for slow growth, and they're probably doing it without getting in trouble for doing it. Do you know what I mean? I think they would.
We know they've already got that Bundesliga 2 license as well, and the fact that they haven't done anything with that yet is, you're probably right. They're sat waiting for the time that makes sense. I think if
it was the Premier League, it would be straight out and straight on the big leagues. But because they're probably thinking, right, well, everybody will snap up the goalkeepers, but do you think everybody will really snap up the 32-year-old midfielder? That'll probably be 0.01 ETH, and do you know what I mean? Whereas if there's a double of people, that player comes into play. That's what's good about the thresholds as well, because the thresholds brings a lot of players into play.
Definitely.
Because a lot of yous, if you were just playing Challenger or Champion, wouldn't go near it. Even like Axel Witsel, I bought him the other day for 0.125, and I didn't have a team, so I put him up for 0.175. and it was 5 minutes before the deadline, and somebody bought him. And I thought, that's a quick profit, but he's never coming into play if it wasn't for the threshold team.
Yeah.
Underdog as well. I built an underdog team the other day for like a video, and it's one of those ones when you look at the guys that fill out an underdog team, you think, oh, that team's not going to get anywhere near it. But when you look at the scores, because also underdog is handicapped in such a way, that guys like that, if they can get 60 on AA, then they're like a powerful underdog.
Yeah.
As well as threshold, obviously.
Another good thing about the underdog as well is like if you can pick up 2 players that score like under 40 on their L15 quite cheap. Like obviously they spike a little bit if they look like they've got a good fixture and they shouldn't be at that point in the sort of like scoring matrix. But for the most part, you can compete very cheaply with those 2 sort of L15 under 40s. And if either of those players score over 50, like above their sort of average, you're well in with a shout as well. Like I've won a few rewards in the specialist and the underdog, where I've bought a couple of cards to compete, and that was another thing. I've been selling quite a few of my sort of high ticket limiteds. Like I sold Ensoki and I sold Omar Sole. I listed a few others. I sold Kvachkarelia. How do you say that name? Kvachkarelia. Because he's just like at the absolute top of his matrix right now in terms of price. And I just thought I sold him for like 0.17 ETH, which is loads. Like of ETH, it's loads. Going back to that first thing we were talking about. But I'm looking at that and I'm like, that feels like a good profit on what I paid for him. And he's going to go to what? Is it Napoli next season or Lazio?
Napoli.
I don't think he's going to score quite as much as he does in like his international break is like the time to sell him. He's been absolutely caning it in the Nations League, but he could easily be rotated. And I don't have a particularly strong champ limited team. And I think, one thing that we do learn from limiteds is if you're not using them in the challenger or the underdog, you have to compete with the stacks in their sort of regional. And I don't have any of those big stacks. Like I don't have a Salzburg, I don't have a Bayern, I don't have a Real Madrid. So I'm looking at my limiteds right now as like, if I'm going to sell anything as a flip, my limiteds might be the one where I haven't got the weight that I need in limiteds. But yeah, the underdog and the specialist have been great, I think, for like giving people an opportunity to compete on a low budget. So I definitely think that there's room for them to stretch that out. I like they've introduced these new ones, haven't they? Like the special Threekly, where you only have to use 3 cards and you can win prizes there. And I would love to see more of that. I think, a lot of people used to talk about the progression bar and that needs to come in. The things like this are as good as that, in my opinion. It's like, oh, you don't need a goalkeeper to enter the special Threekly. You just need 3 outfielders and a couple of commons. You can do that for like less than a tenner every weekend if you want.
Yeah. And now the Common League has got rewards.
Yep, that as well.
That'll get people signing up. That'll get people involved. Get them looking at it every week and then going, oh, you know what? I'm going to put some money in and then play this game.
Yeah. I think the appeal to people that want to come in and like grind and farm, from the ground up has been kind of long required. I suppose it was really good to see, and I think it kind of signals. I've seen. I think it might have been even last week when we were on the podcast, but like I think it's like the second step down the road from when we got like all the calendar stuff and the underdogs and whatever. So, we're recording today. It's Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised within the next week or so. Sorare maybe reveal another thing, maybe beginning of August or something. Or beginning of July. Sorry, because it does feel like they have their own. Kind of plan towards the start of the next season in terms of things are going to roll out and change and all the rest of it. So might be something to do with the second divisions and that as well, because I think like when they signed that, like when was it, January or December or something, it was like mid-season. And I think they're on record for like any major changes won't happen during European calendar. It'll always be off-season. And they did also say they'll always try and give us as much advance notice as possible. So like if something was to change in August, I would expect to hear about it based on their form in July.
It's a good point. I like the fact that they're testing things out though, like especially game modes, because I've quite enjoyed the underdog and the specialist. It gives you something to like really dig into the stats on, and there's been some really good sort of Twitter users out there who have been using that as like a springboard to get their following up and sharing really good information. So if you're someone who shares that information on Twitter, shout out you, give us a little mention, and we'll make sure we give you a plug on the podcast. But Twitter's been great, a really good hub of information. There's obviously people out there doing the paid services as well, and these are other things that people don't really think about when they enter this space or the game. Is there's ways to add value and like earn beyond your flipping, your trading, your entry. There's definitely people out there that probably make a nice little sideline doing content like yourself, Quinny. Offering paid Patreon services for information on the leagues that are out in Asia, particularly the Korean leagues, the Chinese league, the Japanese league. Obviously, there's lots of information out there. So, and the fact that Sorare allows people to like build on top of their API, it'll be interesting to see if we get any more kind of third-party games popping up like Sorare Mega. Obviously, Sorare Data's there doing it as well. I wonder if there's anything else out there that's in the mix. Didn't they announce something? They were trying to like encourage people to build on the legend cards or something, weren't they? I haven't seen any update of that. Has there been anything?
A proper crypto thing. I can't remember the details with that, but yeah, it was like, it was like,
it was like fun, wasn't it? Yeah, a bit of seemed a bit like, odd.
It was like I draw beer off, like cooking a barbecue and stuff like that, or they wanted stuff like that,
like The Sims.
Aye, yeah, that kind of
with Pirlo in the kitchen.
Aye, Frankenstein or something. I don't know, but yeah, I can't really remember what happened with that. But little innovations like that are nice to see when they come, but not all of them are going to work. And that's another good point you make, Stish, because when we think about rewards and whatever, like Sorare supply rewards to Sorare Mega, Sorare Brag, and Sorare Data for their free-to-play games and whatever as well. So, and obviously we had One Shot League. And all the
One Shot was great. I wish something like that would come back. I don't know, Tony, was you around when the One Shot League was about the Belgian thing?
No, I've never played a side game. I've never played
on none of them.
On the
don't
game,
do the
no,
Mega.
Never. No, I don't know what it is.
SorareMega.com, and this for anyone listening as well is free to enter. You can enter 3 aside, 5 aside, 8 aside, and 11 aside, and then there's another one like Score Dice, but I always forget to do that one. But it's like a free to enter game. It kind of you log in with your Sorare account, so it looks at what card you got, and then you enter those teams. And they've also got little sort of power-ups that you can add to the players, like so it gives them a little boost for like maybe their passes or their interceptions and stuff like that. And you win coins that you can use on the platform to buy the power-ups as well. I mean, I don't get too involved in that. Like I have had a few. I did buy some power-ups just when I was on the site at any given time of day. Just threw a couple of bids in to see if I won any of the power-ups. But I've actually won my best limited reward on Sorare Mega. I won a Steven Berghaus limited for finishing, I think, 4th one week on Sorare Mega, and that's better than anything I've won on the main Sorare site in terms of limiteds, at least.
What do you do here?
So you just chuck your teams in. If you look at the website, you go into sort of like Mega 3 or Mega 5, and then you go to like play. When you click play, you'll see a window change. It will give you the option of like 3 cards. And then when you click into those, it will show you all of the cards that you've got available that have a game week that week. And you just select 3 players or 5 players. The 3 players can be any 3. The 5 has to have goalie, at least like 1 defender, at least 1 midfielder, and at least 1 attacker. But you can change formation and stuff like that as well. So it's worth having a play with. And
I've
for anyone listening,
never heard of this.
Yeah, SorareMega.com. It's good, and there are rewards
as well. And there's another one, Sorare Brag, which I've not really played as much.
Does Sorare Brag have rewards?
I think it has something, yeah. I don't think it's much. I think Mega and Data get, like compared to the other ones anyway, like a decent chunk of it. But I think a lot of the lower end, the kind of smaller accounts, the ones that are interested in like farming and grinding and whatever, they do make use of all avenues, and it's a part of utility that I certainly don't take advantage of as much. And I suspect, like Tony's never even heard of Sorare Mega, I suspect there's way more people in the platform that aren't exposed to some of these things that can run rewards as well that you would be surprised about, Yeah,
it's decent. Like, you've got to try and do it. Sometimes it gets a bit busy close to the deadline. So if you leave it to the last minute, you can be there like the website's crashing and that, because there's probably about 20,000 people trying to put teams in at the same time. But if you just chuck them together, it's something. It's one of those things, and it's just like something you can do at no extra cost. If you can just chuck together, like I don't overthink the teams I put together on there. Like I just chuck them in the hope that it bangs and I win something. And I've won a Stephen Berghaus. I think I've won something else on there early days, but I haven't had a win on there for a long time. But it's still worth doing if you can remember to do it.
I'm a big fan of the Sorare data leagues, like the way that works. And I normally, for anyone who hasn't caught me doing a live stream for a game week or whatever, what I'll normally do is do the Sorare data 11, and I'll build that team first. So then what I end up with, and I always make my formation 3-4-3. So basically, by the end of once you've done that, if you don't look at the scarcity of the card or any of that, what region it's in, you then end up with a wee list of your 3 best, your 4 best, and your 3 best attackers. And then I try and keep that in my head when I go and make my SO5s. I think, well, if I'm picking like a guy who didn't even make the best 3 defenders, I'm like, well, why is this guy going in my second best team? That doesn't make sense, And it's so playing these little side games sometimes, like taking them seriously isn't the be all and end all. Sometimes it just helps you with a wee bit of decision making or a wee bit of, hold on, actually I ended up picking that guy in every so rare mega lineup, but when I come to so rare, he's in my 5th best team. How's that? And it can help you sometimes catch these things.
It's a good point. When does the So Rare Data League start back up? Because I've just had a little look and it's not active at the minute. I guess they wait until the European reopens, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know what the rules are around how many leagues they need.
Explain that quickly, please, Stish. What is the So Rare Data League?
So if you go on the So Rare Data website and go to play, and then go to gaming arena, there's no sort of leagues open at the moment, but when there are, it will show you like what you can enter. Like there'll be like 4 or 5 things. It'll be like challenger team, like an 11-a-side team. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And they've had pretty good rewards as well. Like I've definitely had a few rare rewards on there down the years. I haven't won anything really. The last division, if you like, or the last season on there was absolutely horrendous for me. I think I only won 2 games. I got promoted, and I'm probably being relegated again after last season, but didn't do well at all.
Do you just start at the bottom?
I think so. Yeah, I think they might start you. They have a very unique scoring matrix, which kind of figures out. It gives you ranking. It gives you a ranking based on like your wins per game and your score per game. So even if you lose, if you score a big score and you just lose to a bigger score, you still like do better than you would if you like got won, but you had a really bad low score anyway and just got lucky.
Would I just join one? How would I join it?
So when
you see it, you can click on it.
That's it. Yeah, when it's open, it will show up. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it is. But yeah, next time it's open, we'll make a point of letting it be known on the podcast, so we can all make sure that we're in there. But it is, that's another good thing that you forget about when you're using So Rare Data, to be honest, because it's a nice little side game and they do cups as well. So like a knockout. I think I got that was the closest I got. I got to the like 3rd and 4th place on one of those cups this season. Got knocked out in the semi. But I don't think I won anything for that. I think came 4th overall, but you got to win that one to win a reward, I think. But yeah, there's plenty going on out there. I'll tell you what, another thing as well, like beyond the games, I've noticed a few more sort of like applications where people will allow you to look at your gallery and like download like your tax returns and stuff like that. That's another thing that I've seen. I think it was like So Rare Assist or So Rare Tools.
It's definitely not like a bona fide tax return, but like your transactions and all that kind of stuff, I think, are on a lot of these places.
Gives you more of a rough idea of like what your profit and loss is and stuff like that, like a clearer view of it. But yeah, there's lots of things people are building, and I was listening to, I think it was Mark Alele on Nellis's podcast, and he made a good idea for a side game where, obviously we have like So Rare Data tracks like the Premier League and stuff like that. So even though there's players not minted, they could easily build like an FPL. So you could pick an FPL team but use a So Rare scoring matrix. That'd be a great side game. Now, you don't need cards to do that, surely. You just pick the players that you want. Like maybe, like without, you could literally just pick any team you want and see how you get on. Be interesting to see if someone could build something like that. So for the uncovered leagues, like a little side game that doesn't require cards. Could be quite nice.
Could do that for Scottish leagues. Definitely, that'd be a good way to start. Because they're on Sorare as well.
Yeah, so you could actually use the cards. You could just like pick 5 or like have a budget based on their last
do
sale.
11.
Yeah.
Just do the exact same as the Fantasy Premier League, 11 with the subs. And then
do 11 with subs, and have a budget based on what their like 3-day moving average price is in ETH or something, and have like a fake ETH balance to start with. That'd be massive. People would love that, wouldn't they? And that would be a good way for people to get used to the Sorare scoring matrix without putting any real money in as well, I think. Could be quite nice for anyone that's listening that knows how to build that.
What about your gallery, Stish? What about Big Darwin? Would you make?
Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking about that before the podcast. Talking about all these price movements and what a big move does for a card. And I was just looking at Darwin. And obviously, I've got a Darwin card, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed at what his move to Liverpool has done for his price. Looking at it now, he's gone up to. So his rare, the most recent sale on his rare was a direct offer, went for 3.25 ETH.
What?
3.25 ETH in pounds, 3,200 quid. I'm like, I need to get mine listed. If that's massive. Surely he doesn't score as big at Liverpool. No,
I think
what do you think?
Bought that stupidly. I think you'll get about 2.8.
I mean, 2.8 is good as well.
I sold him for about, I think around 1.1 or something. But I bought him for similar, and he was just clogging up my gallery.
I mean, that's a massive price in ETH and in fiat. I
think he'll do well because everybody's slotting him, so can't do any worse than expected.
I think he'll do all right as well. But I think the thing with it depends where he plays. You know, like you'd expect him to play through the middle because of the size of him, but like, you know, is he going to be better at that job than Firmino or Jota has been for Liverpool? I doubt it. You know,
he's going to be fresher, isn't he?
Yeah.
People aren't really having Jota. I don't know why, because I like him, but
I like him too.
He's not really been a mainstay.
Yeah, so I had to get rid of mine. I had a Jota until a few weeks ago.
Salah or Firmino leave, then Diaz, one of Mane or Salah are going to be playing.
Yeah.
And then there's a spot in the middle for him. Plus he can play. He can go wider. I've seen a lot of games where he was attacking the wide areas and he was dribbling with the ball well, and I think it's a good signing. I think he'll do well.
I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well. But will he do 2.8 ETH well? That I'm not sure. But then if I did sell him, who do I go with? Yeah. He's U23.
You know.
When Liverpool play Fulham next season, for instance, and you see him in the starting lineup.
Yeah. This is a good point.
It's a shame Norwich get relegated, eh?
You see him in the starting lineup, you're thinking, I'm getting a decisive at least 70. When all round score at least 10, 15, so...
decisions. I mean, that does look like a bit of an outlier looking at that price. There is that price of like 3.2, but then the next couple are sort of 2.8 or thereabouts, and there's a little cluster of them. So maybe it is like a 2.8 to 3 if you're lucky.
You take that, no? How much did you pay for him?
I won him, so I didn't even pay for him.
Jackpot.
He was a reward.
Take that 3 ETH, put it in a side wallet and wait till ETH comes up and you'll be laughing.
Oh, you're talking my language. 2.8 is the lowest listing currently. So yeah, I think if I listed him at 2.8, maybe I'd get a few offers. Maybe I do. I just think like at the moment, in terms of my U23 options, if he goes, I mean, if he stayed at Benfica, he was easily the best option I had for Europe. And, you know, maybe Castellanos moves and the same happens to him. I don't think, you know, if his price has taken a little bit of a dip of late, and I think that's down to the fact he's been linked to so many European sides. Because if he goes to Europe,
Leeds link, you know, I think if he goes to that, because the other links he's had in Europe have been decent, you know, like Bruges and, you know, places like that, you know. But if he goes to Leeds, it's, you know, does he get over 10 goals in the Prem? I don't see it, you know.
You could sell Darwin and get a Jota.
I mean that makes sense to me, right? But then if Is Jota tied up now? Has he done the deal?
No.
It's not yet confirmed, but like
It looks
it feels
highly
very
likely,
much
doesn't
like
it?
it's done. Yeah.
The thing with Celtic, right? You two will know better than me.
Benfica, sorry to interrupt you, but Benfica, I read something last night, but Benfica have basically already spent the money in their head that we're giving them for Jota. I read a thing saying that Benfica are waiting for these 3 players to officially leave and then they're going to go buy somebody. So
Right.
they've already we're selling him to Celtic and we're getting 6 million. They've already done
The only
that.
thing is, somebody would come and pay 10 mil.
I think we've got a clause on him.
No, I know, but if Jota turns around and says, nah, I don't fancy it, I think he's going to go anyway. That's the only thing Benfica have got a saving grace for.
Sure.
Because I know the clause is there, but if Jota says,
You're right.
I'm not coming. But I think he'll end up at Celtic, I do. I think he'll end up... The only worry for me would be a Jota holder is, imagine a Newcastle or somebody went, oof, he was unreal.
Yeah.
Here, I'll have a slice of him. Which I doubt will happen because I think he does look happy when he didn't at Celtic. He looks settled,
Loving it.
kicking about in holiday with Celtic tops on. So
That's good. As a fan, that's what you want to see, right?
Couldn't believe it when I seen that. I thought it was a doppelganger. I was like, no, this is just a guy who looks like Jota.
that was George Michael kicking about with a Celtic top on holiday.
Club Tropicana, mate.
hanging about basketball courts.
He does look like a young George Michael, doesn't he?
Oh, the spitting
Have I heard that before, Stish?
Mate, no, but no,
He did the Christmas advert and like he was kitted out like top to bottom, like George Michael with the glasses and the jacket and all that.
Oh, mate, that is. He
Brilliant.
does look like him. He does look like him. That's amazing. I've just booked to go away to Ibiza. Talking about George Michael, I'm going away for my 40th in October, and I was talking to my mates about Club Tropicana because they got the venue where they shot the music videos, Pikes in Ibiza. We're like trying to sort a little trip out there while we're out there, so we might see Jota. Get Jota out there.
I thought you were going to say George Michael was coming with you. He was on the trip. So, speaking of George Michael, we're just going away to Ibiza. So I thought it was coming.
20 beers in, I might be seeing George Michael, mate. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, what? Talking about under 23 strikers, I'm looking for one, lads, and I'm struggling. Everybody's wanting far too much, but I've narrowed it down to Pavlidis if I can get him at a price.
Nice.
Doak if I can get him at a price. Or Pirot.
Yeah, I bought a Pirot.
6 games.
Yeah, Pirot's a good shout.
I like Pirot. I felt like he went a bit under the radar when I saw him. I think I picked him up for 0.3. I don't know what his price would be now with all of the volatility since, but
he's like 0.5, but I'm trying to get him for 0.4.
Yeah, if you can get him anywhere near that, I think he's good value when you compare him to what else is available. Because his supply's low as well, so you've not got to worry about competing.
I don't fancy
too
paying
much.
0.5 for him, I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I picked up Fernando, the Shakhtar. He went to Salzburg.
Card, though?
Nah, forward. I needed the forward card. I've got some quite good options. How much did you pay for the
forward?
I think 0.4, something like that.
What?
So I'd have to double check.
When?
It might have been.
Yesterday?
It might be. Actually, no. It might have been closer to 5.
That's unbelievable. People were quoting me 1.
Really? I've got to have a look.
His lowest forward card is 0.89.
Let me have a look at what I paid for him. Oh no, hang about. I paid.
The market's
I paid 0.5. I paid 0.5. So I've paid about what people are quoting now. To be fair.
But yeah, in fiat.
In fiat, what did I pay? Good.
What's the budget?
When did you buy him?
I bought him about 2 weeks ago, a week ago. 715 I paid. So he's less than that now.
Less than that now?
Oh no, that's midfield cards though. You can filter it now actually, can't you, by position? Let me have a look. Filter by position. Oh yeah, you can pick him up for less than I paid. 625 it says. So 625 in fiat now, whatever that is in ETH, was the last sale.
What, his forward card?
Yeah. So if you wanted to go in and quote that, whatever that is in ETH, that was in ETH. It's 0.53.
Yeah,
it's the last forward. No one's having it now, no?
Nobody's having that. I might need to pay 0.6 or something, but he's...
A lot of people think he'll start for PSV, for Salzburg. So that's kind of what I went on. I thought...
there's a bidding.
Oh, is there? One on the auction. See if you can pick up the auction. I was trying to pick one up on auction for a while. I just kept getting beat on the auctions and his price kept going up and up and up. And I had to bite the bullet in the end and just pay. It's the same problem I had with Lee Han Bomb. I was trying to get him at a price, just in the auctions, losing auction after auction. Eventually just had to pay what it cost to get him.
Yeah, I think I might need to do that.
Sometimes it's the only way.
Just put a bid of 0.53 in. That's
Yeah,
his
see how you
last
get on.
sale and just suck it up.
It's well worth a go. Because if he starts at Salzburg, his price is surely going to go way up from there too. You'd think, right?
Yeah.
But the only problem is it then holds my... Right, I'll do it tonight because then it holds my ETH balance. Right, the bid's getting put on him tonight.
I see a couple of my Austrian card wins, that Nene Dorgeles, who is also at Salzburg. There's talk of him being loaned out to Riyadh again this season, so that'd be good if that is the case. I'm pretty sure Riyadh stayed in the league, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
But I need to check that now. As long as they did, that's good news for my gallery. I'm waiting on news from a lot of players. Have either of you had any good news on transfers so far on your galleries?
It sounds like Harwood Bellis is going to Burnley, which is great for utility, but not great for the Celtic stacking. But that'll be good. Having a U23 player in the Championship, 46 games under company, hopefully. Plays them this time the whole season. But no, nothing else. I think we were talking right coming into the international break that we might see a lot of moves. And I think on the continent, I've just sold a bunch of cards, but guys like Renato Sanchez feels like he's about to sign. And there's a few. I think Mkhitaryan's moving to Inter. There's a few. Yep. There's a few kind of obviously Darwin and Haaland has been confirmed, but besides that, there's been lots of little kind of tier 3, if you like, transfers happening. Let's say like Renato or not their tier 3 cards, but you understand what I mean. I think.
Yeah.
But nothing on my gallery really, to be honest.
I mean, if I do decide to cash in on Darwin, that does still leave that hole in my gallery in terms of a champ forward. I've still got Anthony, who I'm waiting to see. There's a lot of rumours that he's moving to Man United, and in terms of SO5, that would not put him where he scores for Ajax. But what do you two think? Do you think he starts every game at Man United? Because Rashford, Sancho, potentially Martial back there again next season. If you put Anthony in the mix of all them,
every week he's a star.
I think if Ten Hag brings anyone in, they play every game, they're fit. Same as Ange at Celtic, it's the manager's guys, it's that kind of vibe, I think, with Ten Hag. If he brings people in, he's bringing them in to play them.
Yeah, I mean, he is the kind of player that I think United lacked last season. If we picked up a proper target player, almost like if we had a prime Cavani in the middle and Anthony on the wing, someone, good in the air. Ronaldo's obviously great in the air, but he's not quite the target man, is he? He's still a little bit of a false 9. He likes to drop in a little bit. He's a great player to have in the box, but it's not the way that United play anymore. It used to be. You very rarely see many crosses flying in from the wings these days.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo can still do all those things. To be quite honest with you, I think watching Ronaldo last year at Man United, which to be honest I didn't do very much of, but the whole team, the whole thing has just been so much we've got to win this weekend. There's no plan really been beyond that. So every weekend it's been throw the best team out. Let's really treat it as much as we can. Go for it, and the best team. And this guy's fit, and this guy's now in form. And should this guy now play in midfield? And it's been so much of a patchwork job, especially over the last year since Ronaldo's been back, that I think if Ten Hag, all the quotes that came out from Ten Hag is I can't wait to work with Ronaldo. If he purpose builds Ronaldo into the team, Ronaldo will be amazing.
Yeah.
And if you look at Sepp Haller isn't an amazing athlete, especially compared to Ronaldo, even today, And then I was thinking about when Ranić came in to Man United, if you look at the Red Bull kind of system and whatever, there's normally almost always a striker like a Yusuf Poulsen, a bigger kind of striker that can still pass and shoot and whatever. And Yusuf Poulsen isn't an amazing athlete either, and he can still really do that job. And Leipzig, which is seen by everyone as being a high press, possession Red Bull football kind of team. So I'm not writing Ronaldo off until he retires.
No.
Yeah, I don't think you can write him off.
No, not at all. And as a United fan, like he has been amazing, and hopefully he continues to be. But it will be interesting to see if he's deployed any differently. I mean, Anthony at Ajax, I watched quite a lot because I had so many Ajax players. But the way he linked up with Mazraoui was almost like they were interchangeable at times. Like Anthony isn't one of those players who feels like he has to stay at the top of the pitch all the game. He does get back quite a bit, and like defensively, I mean, Eredivisie is a different league, obviously, but he was quite impressive at like regaining the ball. Is like the high press was there, the overlap with Mazraoui, that kind of like the intuition between them two is great, and I think that one player I think that will do really well under Ten Hag if he does deploy that same system is Dalot. Diogo Dalot is like a flying wing back. He's never really had the chance to do it at United because he hasn't had maybe the players in front of him. Obviously, we got Sancho there, who is amazing going forward, but not as much of a sort of. He's not much of a midfielder in terms of like a wide player. He's much more of a wide forward. Whereas I feel like Anthony was surprising me how much he did actually win the ball back or get an interception. You know,
He's quite ratty, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think we've missed that. And if Ten Hag wants to play like that, hopefully that will work. But I think he needs to bring in a lot more players. I think we need fullbacks, we need a centre back, we need defensive mids, and we need
everything. We goalkeeper.
Yeah, pretty much. It does surprise me actually that people are talking about like replacing De Gea, because De Gea has been our best player for 3 seasons now.
Remember De Gea's got crap in front of him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an amazing player. Like, look at the saves he's saved. As bad as we have been in the last couple of seasons, he's saved more points than most players on the team. Like, scraped more points, more wins together. Him and Ronaldo, between the two of them, are probably worth about 10 points last season. It's insane. People are talking about replacing him to me.
I seen him getting hundreds of stick on some scout pages maybe about a week or two ago. They're talking about his distribution with the ball and how many, shots to saves, like the ratio, where I forget the term for it. All that caper is saying like, Man United fans have been saving him for years because of Player of the Year awards and all the rest of it. But he's actually like a big underperformer.
So I think De Gea's got a big save in him. And remember, see if you're facing 10 shots a game, in training you're going to concede because the more you hit, the more you score. But see if I'm hitting 1 shot a game, the chance of me scoring in 10 is less likely, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my percentage would probably be worse. But I think De Gea, if he had a good defence in front of me, could be a monster again. But again, it's just kind of speculation. But if you could get De Gea away, get Varane fit, I think if you can get a De Jong and then you can get Ronaldo, Sancho at his best, you've got 4 or 5 players there you could build on. But he's got a massive job on his hands. Let's be honest. He needs a full 7 or 8 signings that are going to hit the ground running. And I think he maybe dip into the Ajax market because he knows he needs players he can trust, and he's probably got a few. The only problem is at Ajax he's got a few boys who can take that level easily, like your Daily Blinds and maybe your Tadic, who wouldn't get a game at Man U.
Yeah.
So he needs to then go and find boys that can do that, which then becomes a hard job for him because it's not easy. These players are going to be 35, 40 million pound players, and if you get 3 or 4 of them, your budget's nearly gone.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned then Frankie de Jong. I'd love to get your perspective on it, Tony. Like, as a footballer, it looks to me like he does not want to leave Barcelona. He's been linked to Man United. Every time they ask him about it, he says he's happy at Barcelona. He's at the club of his dreams. He doesn't want to leave, but they might have to sell him.
Something you retweeted, and it was like,
why do you? Like, he wants to play there. We shouldn't really be pursuing him, in my opinion.
But did they not say something like, to be fair, see the press, that's a smokescreen. He can't come out and say, I want to go, because if it doesn't happen, right? But then he said it was an honour today in a press conference that Man U want him, which is fair. For me, Frankie de Jong shouldn't be going from Barca to Man United, not at this current climate. Maybe if Man U were back to close to being their best, okay, but I don't understand why he would, other than the fact that he knows Ten Hag.
Yeah.
He knows that he'd get the best out of him. But he only needs to look at his mate Van de Beek to think, I don't know if people can go under there, and I don't think I don't think De Jong is the type that would go under. I think he is a world class operator who probably has been outshone by the fact that Busquets is there, Pedri's the up and coming baby, the star, the love child of everybody. Everybody loves Pedri. Then you've got other young lads like Gavi, Puig, is he one as well?
Yeah.
So De Jong's never going to get the publicity there. For me, if De Jong moved, it would be to like a PSG or something, because then he would become the main man in the midfield next to Verratti, or even like a Man City. Imagine De Jong at Man City. And this isn't being disrespectful to Man U, Stish. I know you're a Man U fan.
I'm not about to log off, don't worry, it's alright.
I don't understand. The only thing that he would go there for is the comfort of Ten Hag loving him, and see if he's trying to get the ball ticking the team like that. He'll give it to people and he'll just keep giving it away and he'll be defending.
Yeah.
And that's no his strong point.
Yeah.
Man City can give a ball away, everybody rats together. I don't think personally it'd be a good move for him, but I would love to see it for the Premier League.
Do you think Van der Beek will get a better look in under Ten Hag?
I heard they're trying to shift him already.
Really?
I seen it online. I don't know if I dreamt that or not, but it was like Van der Beek won't get a chance even though Ten Hag's coming. But if you could get the two in the midfield together and then a kind of Verratti type next to them, you're doing alright. Or even one that runs forward.
Yeah.
I think Barca have put themselves in a really awkward position with De Jong, because I think everyone loves him in Barca. But like Tony says, they've got Xavi, they've got Pedri, they've just signed Frank Kessie as well. I don't know if the ink's dry on the contract for that, because it's like signed, but there's no announcement.
No announcement, yeah.
Also, Busquets is still knocking about, so...
I think they're waiting to sell. That's maybe how De Jong ends up at Man U. Maybe he's one of the disposable ones that cost a bit of money. If they can get 50 million for him, that's 50 million towards
Lewandowski
player fund.
Keeping Dembele.
I was just going to say Lewandowski, like what a mess that is. That's just turned into a farce now, isn't it? What's going to happen there?
I think he ends up at Chelsea.
Oh, really?
Arsenal are going to end up saying, right, we can't do this. I don't think physically they can't sign free agents. How can they sign Lewandowski?
They can't. No. Surely not. That's what I was thinking.
Get him to PSG. Imagine a 4-2-3-1 of Mbappe in the left, Messi through the middle, Neymar on the right, or vice versa, with Lewandowski up front.
That's just that takes a piss.
They need a striker. I've said it for so long. They need a number 9. Icardi should have played in some of the big games because they create so much, but they just need a horrible guy that toe pokes things in.
I can't stand Icardi.
He scores goals.
Aye.
A brilliant goal scorer.
God, could you imagine that? Would PSG win the Champions League if they did that, made that signing, you think?
They signed one central midfielder alongside Verratti, for instance, Akante. I think yes. Even Paredes, if Paredes can stay fit, these two together, I think they'd win the Champions League because they've got Nuno Mendes, Hakimi, Marquinhos and Ramos or Kimpembe. They win the Champions League for me.
Aye. On paper, they're frightening, man. Especially if you do throw somebody in there like Akante or a Pogba and a Lewandowski on top, it's just then no even fair. Like,
I think Pogba's Juve, but isn't he?
Do you think Real Madrid would make a go at Lewandowski, given how hot Benzema is now?
No.
Missing out on Mbappe? Yeah, fair enough.
Mbappe can play on the left, can't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I think him and Benzema probably interchange quite a bit, but I don't see Lewandowski... Like, Benzema can play on the left, even though people say Benzema goes into pockets, picks up, which would allow Mbappe through the middle, but I don't think Lewandowski wants to do that. Maybe he can do it, but I don't think he wants to do it. Maybe
Mad. Looking at the fixtures ahead, to just change the subject, we've actually got some non-international fixtures this weekend. Are either of you two able to field a decent side this weekend?
Should we finish it off with a wee challenge?
Oh, go on then. What have we got this week? Have you had any thoughts on it? Actually, Tony, don't you still owe us a TikTok dance?
I do. I really do. I'll get it done, I swear.
You just need to buy your outfit for it. Is that what's slowing it down? Or we should just start adding on top of it, building each week. adding something else
Just
that
put
needs
an
to go
England,
into
do you want me to just put an England top on and do a hula hula dance or something?
I take that. I don't think you'd see the end of it on Twitter though. If the rest of the world got hold of that outside of the Sorare.
You know what? See, as long as the podcast goes viral, I'm up for it.
All right, mate. That I'll take that. What do you reckon, Quinny?
I'll see if I'm sure I've got an Andre Wisdom one for the under 21s game we played against them.
That sounds like a plan, mate. What song are you going to dance to?
I'm a hula hula baby.
Right, what is the challenge this week then? Have you had any thoughts on it? Considering we've got,
by the way.
have you? I haven't actually got into my building yet.
Well, when I say strong, I made a couple of trades. Got Johnny Russell's signature card I spoke to you about yesterday.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I've already had an offer on it today, but I'm not sure I want to give it up just yet. The problem I've got is, see the little lad. Oh, are Atlanta not got a game this week?
Atlanta played last night. Joseph Martinez just came back. I think it was a friendly, maybe in some sort of mad cup or something. The Mexican
Did they play?
Yeah, Joseph scored as well. It was a good result for them, I think. That's
Did
Joseph
they
back in
now?
town, right as I sell him.
Did they now? Did you sell him?
Aye, I did say with that deal, like I sold like 30 odd cards or whatever, and I sold a lot of them were like, so close to just come, and Joseph was one of them, just coming back from injury or just about to pop through. So I seen it was all coming through my timeline, and I was like, oh, I feel so bad about letting the Joseph go, but
what price do you think he could get to? No, he's got a game. He's just not showing up on my thing.
Joseph fit can be lethal. Like he can be like maybe not quite so senior because he's not got the AA, but like he can be top of the pile when he's fit. Like no two ways about it. The problem has been keeping him fit, and Atlanta have been getting slated recently for the amount of injuries they've got because of their pitch and whatever. So that was actually part of the thing that motivated me to move Joseph. Was like I don't see his injury situation like over the longer term. Like does feel like you'll get like 6-7 months of like good form, and then maybe something will keep him out for a month or and I just thought I'm just done with this now. But I know as soon as he comes back from injury, he's going to score a bunch of goals. I'm going to regret it. And
I don't think Miami the weekend as well, Quinny. Jesus.
Yeah, he's going to pump them. Atlanta are looking great as well. They're now. Brooks Lennon's a great card as well. We'll be picking up. They're now so undervalued because he's losing U23 status, but he's on most free kicks. He's a right back and he's always in the opposition box. Like,
I've got a question for you, and you won't want to tell me. Who's better for my team? Hernandez playing against Timbers or Johnny Russell playing against Nashville?
Hernandez, he's at home. Johnny Russell's away. That's what I would go with.
I'm going to have a look. We can go into like the lineup builder now and build like a team for you.
Ooh.
So what
maybe that's the challenge. Maybe that's the challenge.
What?
Right? We have to build we have to build a team for one of the others. Maybe and see do we get to track how that scores? Actually, that might be a bit awkward.
No, you could just put it.
So what? Should we say we have to build a team for each of the other players in All-Star Pro or All-Star Rare? Doesn't really matter, does it? We'll go All-Star Pro, and then we add the scores. So I'll do Quinny and Tony's All-Star team, and then the two total scores without any bonuses, so just like the base score of those two teams, right? And then add that together, and you've got to do it. We've got to do it for each.
What about this? Are we all doing a limited team this week?
Should we do All-Star Pro?
I don't have a limited.
What's that, Tony?
Tony have a limited.
I was going to say we could just all, but I don't mind my limited team. I was going to say like we could all just build. I could build somebody's team. Somebody could build my team. We actually throw it in, and then.
But you could do it with limited. It doesn't matter as long as the scores.
Yeah, do an all-star team. You can do it in their limiteds or in their rares, and then we'll take the base score, so like no bonuses, and then we'll add. So like I can do two teams, like one for Quinny and one for Tony, and you two do the same, and then we'll add those two scores that we got together. Hopefully, there's an easy way of tracking it, but we'll like do a screenshot of the teams we've done so that we can do it manually if we can't. And then we'll add them together and see who came bottom. And then whoever come bottom has to do some kind of forfeit.
By the way, what's this specialist league? I think I can play a team in that?
I think I'm lacking a limited goalkeeper this week.
No, the rare one. Sorry.
Oh,
Rare
the rare
specialist.
one. Yeah, I've got a few goalkeepers who are probably not going to play. That's half my problem at the minute.
With an average 40 or below. Joseph Martinez's average is 40 or below, so I don't know what you're talking about.
In the last 15.
It's saying I've not got any players with an average of... Oh no, he must be one game out it.
Yeah, I'm having a little look at what's going on. But I think that might be a decent little challenge. Just pick him. Couple of teams, one for each of us.
By the way, I've got one more question to ask you.
Go on.
Sorry, Stish, you're the man for Asia. See this Park Home In?
Well, I'm not sure I'm familiar with him.
He plays with FC Seoul. He's had one game and he's got a goal. And he's not played since. I got him for 0.02 last night. Why is he nowhere near it?
I think he might be. Yeah, he's one of the youngsters, so you'll get, because Seoul have quite a lot of under 22 players anyway. I can't remember what the rule is over there, but don't you have to start at least 2 under 22s or something? But because Seoul have Lee Han-bom, they have quite a few of their like regular starters who are already under 22. Some of the other younger players that are on the fringes don't really get much of a look in unless there's an injury. So I think that let me have a little look at his scores.
Played once.
Yeah. I think
scored.
that week that he played, let's have a look at that fixture. I think that might have been, he came on as a sub actually, Tony. Yeah, he didn't start. So he might just be one of those fringe players. There's quite a few under 22s at Seoul that barely get a look in. I've got a couple of them that I bought speculatively.
23's utility till 2026.
Yeah, he's 20, isn't he? That's it. Yeah, 20 years old.
Bad one, no.
I mean, Seoul. The good thing is Seoul is they do play young players. So at that age, he's got plenty of time to still get in. But they do have a few players that hit over that 22 threshold soon. So like next season, maybe when they have that selection problem where they need to use under 22s, he might get used a bit more because he isn't. Right. He's not far away from the starting lineup. But I think that they have their regular right back, their centre back. They've got Young Cho up front, who I think is 22, or he might be 23, and he plays every game and is an international. So they've got a few good under 22. So that's probably why he's not getting the game time. But Seoul do seem to have like a pretty good record for playing young players. So
yeah, if he doesn't, team, is it not?
Yeah, if he doesn't get in, there's every chance he moves as well. So he might be worth holding on to. I don't know what his price is at just yet, but you can still pick him up fairly cheap. But he's 20. That's a good thing about those youngsters, isn't it? Like you might get that utility.
A couple like that.
Yeah, and just hold them. Be patient and hope they get game time. Oh yeah, I'm looking now. So basically, if we go into each other's Sorare data, you built them already, yeah?
Yeah. Do you want to hear your team, Stish?
Go on. Who have you got as mine?
Jo Hyung-woo, Eduardo, Shuto Abe, Cecilia, and Tati.
Nice.
And for Tony, I went with Melia, he's the only goalkeeper, Williams, Ring, Chicharito, and Joseph as the captain.
What makes you pick Williams and Ring?
Ring's a good midfielder, and it's third versus fourth. Montreal are favourites, but Ring is like, he's probably going to rock in like with about 50 odd points or something.
What about Iniesta though?
I didn't really look at Iniesta, to be honest. I've not been following the.
Big Andres he's a sure thing for an 80 every 2 weeks.
I'm looking at Marcelo.
Fair enough, but I'm sticking with Ring.
Benitez.
Marcelo Benitez as well. Like, what's he saying, Tony? It looks like he got sent off a couple of games ago, but he's missed one game. He should be back
this week.
I like the look of him. I like his scores. I think I might use him. He might be in my team. Yeah, we got midfield. Iniesta. Who's Iniesta playing? Kashiwa Reysol. Oh, he's got to play, hasn't he? He's got to play, surely.
Right, he needs to play. They're struggling.
Yeah, I'm going to have him. Iniesta's in there for me. Up front, who we got? Johnny Russell. Javier Hernandez. I think I've got to go. Got to go Chicharito, surely. Oh, actually, who's Johnny Russell got?
No, I'm going to have time to think about your twos because I'm going to go a bit outside the box. Because I know if we all pick the same teams, we're in trouble.
I think I'm going to go Hernandez. So my team for you, Tony, is Tim Melia, Marcelo Benitez, Iniesta captain, Johnny Russell, and Javier Hernandez.
No Joseph.
Oh wait, did I miss Joseph? Let me have a look. Let me go back into the extra and see who I've missed out here.
Joseph is right down the bottom because he's...
Oh yeah.
Been injured and such.
Oh yeah, Martinez. It's not a bad shout. Into Miami. I think I'm going to go with Chicharito. Just because he's the ex-United.
He's on pens.
He's on pens.
He missed one though last game, didn't he?
Yeah, he'll still be on them, but it'll be in his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to go with that. Just for a bit of differential.
Before we sign off, haven't they heard anything about Zahavi? Because his price keeps tumbling.
I think that's probably why, because there's nothing concrete just yet, maybe.
Right, people are getting scared because of Maccabi links.
Maybe
worthwhile buying one if you're up for a gamble.
I mean, if he doesn't
on that angle, because it's like, if we've got the Croatian league and the Ecuadorian bloody league and all the rest of it. Like, Israel's no that much of a backwater football, league, where it wouldn't be scored,
Surely, yeah, like the Greek leagues and stuff like that have got to come on soon.
Like, Greece is the one now that really does baffle me, why there's not even an SO5 cover for it, because it's like, there's 3 really big teams in Greece, like, European-wise, It's not like, again, like,
Sweden's another one, right? We've got to have Sweden soon. They've all got... I think next season we'll see lots. I think my thinking on it is they won't do it just yet because they'll just have all of the community blowing up that like, oh, you're only supposed to be on board in the top 20. Where's the Prem? Oh, when's the Prem? So I think like if they have got the Prem, they'll do that. And then once the Prem's launched and everyone's happy, they'll go, oh, and we're also opening coverage in all these leagues. And it'll be like loads of... Because there's no reason they can't cover them in the game, whether they've got cards there or not, right? Like if you... The less red crosses there are on the platform, the better for everyone, surely.
100%.
And there's a lot of leagues out there that they could cover that they don't. I reckon that's what'll happen. They'll get the Prem, hopefully. And then if they get the Prem, we'll just see loads of coverage opened up. That's my hopes. Yeah, I guess on that note,
what we'll do is will we ask the people at home for the forfeit again?
I do that before, so that there's definitely a forfeit.
Yeah. End Product Pod on Twitter. Give us a little comment on there as to like what we think the forfeit should be this week. And thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure, lads.
Don't forget to rate and review and follow and subscribe and all that good stuff. Have a good game week, everyone.
Good luck.